And we're back.
Hit me now.
After you need to hold on.
Okay.
Have some prudence. It's a virtue in the Bible.
Ooh, damn. I hope that's where we're starting.
Reading the Bible now?
Dang it!
It's totally not what we're starting with.
Dang it! I thought we were starting biblical.
It's a little bit different than anything biblical. A man, this is recently, went in for a bladder surgery, and so he had cancer, I think, of the bladder, and they went in to remove the part of his bladder that had cancer, and they removed his entire penis.
Ho.
And no testing was done to validate that the cancer had spread to his penis.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lawsuit happened as a result of it, and they found out that they somehow were able to get the penis tissue, they were able to do testing that showed that there was no spreading of the cancer to anything else. So this guy went in for a surgery to remove a tiny part of his bladder, and they just removed his entire penis.
Oh my! Okay, so they thought the surgeon thought cancer was there.
Correct, but with no information other than looking
Still
at it.
Insane.
Yeah.
I originally thought you were like, they just accidentally cut his penis off.
They're just working on it, and like,
he doesn't need this. Right?
It just goes in the garbage, recycling, or
wait, yeah, what'd they do with it?
Ate it.
Ooh.
Oh. My question.
I mean, they just throw that shit in the fucking biohazard bin.
My question, as a outside observer,
definitely had this happen to you?
I've had surgery before,
yeah,
much like others have.
Yeah.
And if he saw his penis, so they're there to remove cancer, from a bladder, and if he looked at his penis and said, that definitely has cancer, what did his penis look like that made the surgeon with no chart saying you need to cut his dick off? Well, what did he see?
Maybe it was like
internal. I would think it would be an internal. When they open you up, you can probably see cancerous tissue, like a tumor or something like that, and they probably saw the inside of it that looked. I would imagine it wouldn't look like.
I guess where's the bladder? Isn't the bladder
in my mind so far away from the penis?
Somewhere, I don't know.
But not near the penis, though, right? I thought it was up here.
No, I think it's sits.
Why are they cutting through his penis to get to the bladder?
They're cutting through his penis.
I'm trying to figure out why it looks like cancer to them.
Because they go to the bladder, and the bladder connects to the penis. Yeah. And so they literally see...
Through the urethra, I know.
Okay, but I'm saying that they probably saw the cancer, and maybe the doctor probably saw something.
Maybe the urethra was so fucked up. They're like, just take his whole dick off. This is rough.
It's just, holy shit, take that dick off.
Get him a bag. He doesn't pee anymore. Yeah. Get rid of the whole thing.
But that's talk about an actual horror nightmare. You wake up and your penis is just gone.
What happened? Did they give it back, or what happened?
You can't give... What do you mean give it back?
What'd they do with the penis?
They threw it out. It's gone. They don't hold on to things after they remove them in surgery.
Okay, whoa, hold on. When you get your wisdom teeth out, they give it back to you.
They give him his penis in a bag, in a little jar.
Wait a minute.
Here you go.
You're telling me they just we got
Does
this
that actually... I've got my wisdom teeth out. No one was like,
I didn't get mine. Did you get yours?
No. I still have them in.
Oh,
yeah. So I think that's just
I made it up.
Yeah, but I've heard of dentists doing that. I think that's just a folklore. Maybe used to have them back in the day. But I don't think surgeons are doing that. You want those teeth? I think they just fucking throw them out.
Only if they're a really cool surgeon.
He's wearing shades and a fedora.
Yeah, and he's
playing jazz.
I got your dick in a bag.
You want that dick?
You want your dick?
You want that dick in a bag? You want a doggy bag for the dick?
Follow up. Yeah. Did they leave his balls?
Oh, that's a great follow up.
Because that'd be wacky to look at.
Holy shit! You wake up with just a set of a sack.
Just a sack.
Can you get off with just sack play?
Can
he still?
How do you even get off?
I mean, there's guys who can. People who can orgasm without.
Here's a question.
The male prostate. So
yeah, you can do that.
Still got balls. Does it just dribble out with?
God, dude.
Would you want to?
So bad. I wonder. I have so many questions now. I wonder if they cauterize it and then you just have a bag for pee, or if you pee out just a hole.
I
have to imagine.
Or do they give him a prosthetic?
True, but I imagine if the cancer was bladderous, they probably have to do bag anyway. There's probably some.
Yeah, they probably just go right into the side.
Yeah, because if they had to remove part of the bladder is the pee thing. So
here's a question:
the pee thing.
Do you want to keep your balls if you end up in this situation, or do you might as well just get rid of those too?
I do because of the testosterone. Your balls don't make production.
You're right.
So you essentially, I mean, not to totally go off on a tangent, but I've been doing research into
balls.
Well, yes. It involves balls, but that's kind of that's a ancillary thing to the main research. I was researching because the transatlantic slave trade that everyone's like, oh, it was the worst one, blah blah blah. Like I've heard that all my life of us getting slaves and bringing them there, and then you do, you research a little bit and learn like there was a lot of slave trades over a lot of different periods of time that were equally, if not more horrific. And one of the ones I think it's the trans-Arabic slave trade, and they the default of when you get a slave is they would castrate you. And their slaves had a mortality rate of 50 to 90% because they're just castrating every slave. And they had the same volume of slaves that the transatlantic one. So 12 to 20 million people that they just get castrate. And they're like, well, hope he lives. So that's the ball relation to this.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
So balls are healthy to keep.
Well,
you want your balls.
You essentially turn into a woman. You make a little bit of testosterone from your adrenal glands on your kidneys. But other than that,
what is a woman?
Does it have balls?
Listen,
I mean, we can get into that too if we want. That's the whole thing.
I mean, that's another tangent. I don't think, at least I don't know the thoughts of this room on it. I don't think we've actually had a woman.
Is this literally the Daily Wire documentary?
Yeah, literally the thing of that's what I was going for was Matt Walsh's "What Makes a Woman," and I was, but I haven't done it here.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah. I feel like it's a worthy topic.
I'm in.
Right. I feel like it depends on what tier you're talking about. Because if you're talking about biology and you go, okay, this makes we have the biology of a man and a woman and the different sex organs that produce hormones that literally make up how you physically interact with the world, how you feel. Mm-hmm. And that distinctly has a difference, massively on how you would interface with the world, your experience because of those hormones.
Otherwise, to your point, they wouldn't do hormone therapy in order to feel
to
or do
go the other way.
Yeah.
So at that base, it's obviously a woman has these sex organs and a man has these. And I think the nuance that always gets argued by someone who would be this gender has no meaning thing would be that there are people who are born sometimes that I think the old term would be hermaphrodite. Now you call them intersex, but you'd be born with different parts. Internally, you could have ovaries, but you'd physically have a penis. And some people would go their life not knowing because they'd have a balls and a penis. But it's so rare.
It's such an edge case used to
justify
the whole.
There's no meaning in sex, and then and I'll get off my soapbox after this. But to add to the next tier of okay, now gender. It's okay, by definition, gender is a construct, but the basis is sex. It all the reason it's the precursor to gender is sex underneath. There's reasons why there are gender norms. It's because they have formed over man and woman acting a certain way over however long humans have been alive.
Yeah.
And now that we've gotten to this place where we have the luxury of saying going against these things that are make man and woman, you can say that they don't apply, but in reality, they still hold more weight than you going, I identify as something else.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you guys think?
I think your thought is they emerged out of necessity, right? For thousands and thousands of years, and now we're at a place of luxury where everyone has more choice.
Yes.
So you can go against the gender norms, which, I agree with. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely male and female. I think that's what you were getting at. But some people seem to think gender is divorced from that. Like you said, don't really. It's definitely connected, right?
Yeah, and the weirder part too for me is the fact that the people who want to claim that gender is meaningless in its construct want to transition to the other gender
with the physical traits, right?
So it's if it is meaningless, then why would you need to do anything to yourself to become this thing that is a social construct to you? It's just this. The logic just kind of implodes on it. And again, if you want to go out and be I identify as he, she, when you are
both,
whatever, he, him, and you are biologically a woman, I don't care. It just the problem just gets into this area when they're starting to teach people that it's not. It's scientific in what we're doing. It's just not. You can be whatever you want, but number one, don't do it to kids. Don't tell kids when they're like, I feel like a girl. You're like, oh, you're actually a girl.
God, change
You're
it.
a girl. Yeah. Like, that can't be allowed.
Yeah.
And then number two, you can't make policy or laws that are like building this into the blocks of science and be like, actually, trans people are like the majority of people, and this dominates. It's like, look at all these instances in nature where there's trans things and gay things. It's like, it's just such a small margin that you're applying to.
Yeah.
It's like their knowledge of proportions and statistics are just void of everything.
It's usually the loudest voices that.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of corollaries to like the minority feelings on a topic being so militant about their views that all of a sudden the policy follows like the militant few who are devout towards the thing because there's so much like indifference, I guess. Because like I would label it as indifferent. Like if I'm not passionate about the trans issue and I'm not dispassionate, it's more like you said, where it's just like if you identify as they and I look at you and I think he, but you say they, I'm not going to be like, no, fuck you.
Right,
Listen,
right.
The way my eyes work and like stuff like that, like I don't care.
Yeah.
But yes, once it becomes like okay, now you're telling me that the science is this, I'm going to question in a scientific manner where that comes from. Because to your point, yes, the basis is sex organs.
Yeah.
And then we built up from that, just like, I'm sure I can't, from a physics realm, I don't know what came first, but you could say like from gravity was born gravitational theory, was born time theory, like time is
like
time
blocks.
is affected by gravity. Like it all centers around like a gravitational pull. Like there are building blocks.
It's all
and
balls.
They're just like, it's all balls.
Centered around
And then they
balls.
just like, they're trying to be like, no, there's this new realm of science over here that you just don't understand.
Right.
Where it's just like, no, a lot of work has gone into this prior to you.
That makes me think of so like, all right, protests. I feel like they've always been around. I'd say like since wars have been around in America and in other countries, like protests have been around ever since there's been like civilization that doesn't just get like stomped out by a matriarch or a dictator.
Yeah.
Or a matriarch, a monarchy, a monarch.
Those matriarchs.
Sorry, arc raiders in my head.
Nice.
But when you go listen to journalists that go to these protests, there seems to be like, there's like the original protests. So like a common one today is like the immigration thing where people are like, they go and it's gotten so bad where someplace like the UK, they're like, listen, this is a bad place because you're bringing in certain cultures that are like having either boy harems or like prostituting children and women and stuff. It's like, this is not compatible with what's going on. And why are we bringing these people here? And then you'll have the counter protest, which is claiming that entire thing is racist. Yeah. And when you dig into like, what are these counter protest things? And it's like the side that are arguing for the immigrant thing are just like people who've been affected by it in their lives, and it's gotten so bad that they go out. The counter protest people are like an organized group that goes to every single protest for this. So it makes it look like the counter protest has an equal opposing amount, even though it's the same fucking people at every single thing. Where like the actual protesters are people in the area that are like, this shit's getting fucking out of control, man. And the counter protesters are just the same people. Yeah. And I never even realized this until you start reading into it, because it always seems like protesters have an equal amount of counter protesters. And it's like, are we really that divided on X issue? Because I feel like this, like, not saying the immigration one is so common sense, but there's ones where it's like everyone is like, oh, there's equal amount of people who just entirely disagree with like a logical assumption.
Yeah.
So the trans stuff I would assume might fall into that bucket, where you have a counter protester thing where like the people who are most opposed to it or being like, that is bigoted, and that is just this like organized group that appears at every single one.
And they also have like the talking points.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we got trounced on this topic. This is how we should respond when someone says this.
Yeah. It's like literally militant version of like, we have this thought, nothing goes against it. We are progressive kind of thing. Yeah. So, wow, we got there all the way from bladder cancer and surgery and the penis being chopped off. So,
because
the
balls make a man.
I was going to say, is that guy a woman? What's the verdict?
Well, that we don't know if his balls got chopped off, though. If his penis got chopped off, it doesn't matter. Your balls still produce the testosterone.
The dick is worth nothing?
In terms of testosterone, what it means physical characteristics of a man, it means nothing. Aside from, like, the penis itself, obviously.
Well,
okay.
A woman could
It's a
get a
big part.
penis. Prosthetic penis. If a penis is
you just said prosthetic, though. That implies already that it's not an actual penis.
we could grow it with cells.
Well, okay. I could grow a human body that's not mine.
Yeah.
Don't point to me like you just won that point.
My point me.
Did
I
you
win.
hold on? Did you
Thank
just say you could grow a human body that's not yours?
Well, I'm just saying it was just an example of moving the goalpost. I was just like saying, oh well, now we can grow with stem cells.
Okay.
We're like, I answer a question, you just move it to another direction.
I
can't grow a human
I don't
body.
think you could do that.
Yeah, okay. I don't think I could. It was just
Dominance.
like,
So wins.
Dominance.
Ha ha! That's
Listen,
what I'm
top it.
talking about. This guy just doesn't get it.
you know what?
This guy thinks he's got all the facts.
I concede.
Chopping him
I
up.
can see. I lose. Is this what you wanted? Is this what you wanted?
No, move back in with me.
Please. It was all ploy. It was all push you away so you want to come back.
Yeah. God, I just want to get in his good graces again. Yeah, come here.
That's the way to do it.
Let's forget all this. Just move back in.
Let's forget all this guy, woman.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Oh
Come
man,
We're
next
all
one I
people.
have on here is just a horrific.
here. Nice.
I was listening to the whatever his fucking name is, the guy who does do the history podcast thing, Martyr Made, and he's
Yeah.
doing a one on World War II right now, and the whole beginning, or no, wait, maybe I'm listening to one on World War One, but anyway, it's all about the trench warfare in World War One right now that I'm listening to, and man, it's like the conditions are just so unreal when
Yeah.
he's talking about like you're in a hole and the hole is usually filling with water because it would rain and there's so much flooding, and so you always have guys who are with buckets, doing water removal all day. So you're mostly like in water all the time. The stench is so bad that people can smell the battlefield from miles away because there's no like corpse removal. There's just bodies stacked on bodies stacked on bodies, and the trench you're usually standing on just corpses everywhere. And they're all your friend, like the people you knew. So you're just like living in a casket.
And it becomes part of the environment. Like
Yeah.
Like, when your place is messy and you just stop seeing things.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like Jimmy's just been there for 3 weeks.
Dude, it's literally in one of the things they're talking about this one scene, because they're all like soldier letters or like journals that they wrote during this. And there was this one situation where a guy, they'd be having some like they do suppressing fire, they make a push, or like some guy goes out and tries to like hit a guy with a rifle or something, and one guy popped up, ran 10 feet up, got his like fucking something blown off, but he was still alive, and then he was just there groaning and screaming for like days, and it lasted so long that rats started to eat him alive. So it's like,
Oh my God.
add that to like, this is just your environment now. You have your friends screaming and being eaten alive after screaming for days. We're like, he probably just like blew his spinal cord, so
You
he's
gotta-
paralyzed in a field.
You got to put that guy out, right?
Well, that's they tried to do, and he was too far up. They couldn't hit him.
Oh, he was out there.
Yeah, he
Okay,
like ran
gotcha,
up, got
gotcha.
clipped, and was just laying in the field.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. But it's like, that's war. It's so crazy that's not too far in the past.
Right.
And it's unlike anything anyone's ever seen in their entire life. And it breaks people so quickly. These are like 18-year-old kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're just being thrown into a trench. And you're like, all right, this is your life now. You're just slowly losing your mind, losing your body. You got trench foot. There's rats everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
They say that like rats are just living with you in like the hundreds and having bait. Like they're spawning more rats in the timeline that you're there.
It's the time of their life. This
Yeah.
this
Dude.
is peak rat environment.
No one ever looks at World War I through that lens of like rats are like, this is the golden age of
They
rats.
look back on that time as like the greatest time in history.
Oh, back in my day, we had all the bodies to feast on. Yeah, that's never even thought about it.
Dude, I've been saying it like since COVID. Everyone's like, this is the craziest world event we've lived through. I was like,
Oh
dude,
my God.
we had World War I and World War II. Like we don't know what crazy is.
No, and even during the COVID stuff, they brought up the last time this had actually happened with the Spanish flu in 1914. And if you go
Oh, yeah,
look
that
at,
was way worse.
dude, it's like people are dropping like flies.
It's like what, a 50?
I don't know. I just know it was so, because the 51 I always hear is from this upcoming thing we're supposed to see soon.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that like H7N9 fucking some flu.
Yeah.
But is that a knock? All right, never mind.
No.
Ice.
Oh, ice. The like their like integration.
Oh, which one?
Oh fuck! Oh, I gotta go. You take over the podcast.
It's your podcast now.
Oh shit! Ice.
You called them
For context of what just
Sorry,
happened.
guys, I phoned it in.
I heard a knock. It was the refrigerator dropping ice, and that's what I thought it was. And I'm Hispanic, so I got scared. I got really scared. I got really scared. What were we talking about? Rats, World War I. Yeah, Spanish flu. But again, these historical pieces of like, oh, here's another random thing I was learning about that's horrific. In the UK, they had this big chimney sweep like market because like they just had all these houses built with these chimneys and so it was an entire job centered around like kids ranging from the ages of 6 to 10 because you had to be small.
Yep.
And the amount of children that just died. It was like the most dangerous job to ever exist because
they chimney sweep.
Oh yeah, because they go and they get stuck and they just fucking die. And then it became so common that like brick removal services would just have to they'd like be on call to like, oh, another kid got stuck in a chimney. They'd have to take down a chimney and just take a corpse out. That was just a child.
So there's not only are they going into chimneys, they're just there by themselves. Like no one's like
no, they're in there, but there's no way to get them unstuck once you like if you get into a small. It's like going to one of those like cave diving things, and if you got stuck in a small space, you can't really do it other than
it's
taking
like putting a ring on your finger.
Yeah,
and then you can't get it off.
The only way is to literally take apart the chimney, which by the time that happened, the kid is just in this compressed position, just dead.
What about soap? Soap them up.
It's brick. There's not really there's not a lot of give. Yeah. The point being is that this is just the roughness.
Just one anecdote of how horrible,
like how bad it was to be around in older times or these situations. Like imagine, you're running a company of just like 10-year-olds that are dying all the time. You're like, get in there. Yeah. Like you're just like you're so used to these kids.
Our churn rate is crazy on these kids.
Dude, even right now. Some of the methods they talked about because going to a chimney. You would just be torn up all the time. Training these 6-year-olds, they literally they just cut their knees over and over and over and over until they were so calloused so they can move and not be cut. And it was just this is just standard. It was just this business.
It's one thing to send someone into the battlefield for war, for the country, but it's fucking chimneys.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also don't understand why, because I think, I could be wrong, I've never swept a chimney, but a chimney is pretty straight up and down. Couldn't you just invent something like what we have now where it's like those things where it's like, think of the, what is it, the blind stick where it's like, and it gets longer and then it goes straight? Can't you just
I think shove the chimneys down? We know are not what chimneys used to be. They used to be because think of people would use fire as their source of heat in a home. Yeah. And they used to be way more complex with turns and shit. It would be the system that would run throughout the house in some cases. I think more cases than not. Hence why the thing I'm listening to is them talking about these real world examples of how many people died or kids died because they just get stuck, or they'd be going in and they get stuck and there would still be they'd have to do stuff while the fire is still on, and they get stuck and just get cooked alive.
I was literally going to make a joke about that. I'm like, no, that's stupid. That wouldn't happen.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It
still does happen.
Fuck, we left the fire on. To put in
perspective of imagine how bad or how about this? How poor the world was where kids were taking those jobs. Take it to basic economics. It's demand will meet supply. It's people are so poor that this is the thing people are willing to do.
Their family didn't have enough. Well, so that's the thing. Send the kid.
You either starve and die or you do this. And it was the poor side of starving and dying is so bad that they're well, this is the only option.
Yeah.
It's dude, that's a reality that existed in the late 1800s, early 1900s, which is not.
I think it would still happen today in developing countries.
Oh.
If the world hasn't gotten to the place where it is now.
Yeah.
Relatively.
Brother, I feel like I've told you this ad nauseum, but the sweat.
I'm fucking sick of hearing it. I'll tell you that.
I mean, what you're talking about exists in a lot of the underdeveloped world in the short. Like when people talk about sweatshops, and they're like, it's so inhumane, people die, and all this stuff. And then you go, okay, what was the kids or the people working these things alternative? Oh, it was dying in the street or becoming like a prostitute. They tried this out in Bangladesh, where they tried to apply child labor laws in Bangladesh so children could not work in factories, and it's like the high majority of the population just became like child prostitutes because it's either do that or die. And then the sweatshop came and was like, hey, we'll pay you money to not be a sex slave. And then people outside countries complain about the conditions and got policy passed in Bangladesh.
Like, dude, we just saved this kid's life. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and they're like, no, those are bad conditions. Go back to being a sex slave. And it's just so myopic in terms of policy and how the world progresses in these places. So anyway.
There's got to be a disparity in wealth in those situations too, right? Someone's running the sex slave ring or the...
Oh, pause. Hold on. And we're back, even though it seems like we didn't leave.
The magic of editing.
We were talking about chimney sweeps. Don't remember what we were talking about next.
This is going to be fun to listen back to.
Yeah. You had a question that I feel like...
I was about to say something so profound.
That's crazy.
Well, we're never going to know.
Well said.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job.
It's all offline.
That's going to get bleeped out.
Right.
Oh, you know what I was talking about? The guy who runs the chimney sweep business.
Okay.
What's his deal? Is he evil rich guy, or is he also fucked by the system?
This is a good question. I think, as with any market, and the farther you go back, the more horrendous job markets there are. So for every chimney sweep master is what they called them, because it was a trade. So like it would be like a plumber, you'd be like a journeyman eventually, or you'd be an apprentice, journeyman, and then you become a master.
Master.
If you survive the chimney as a kid, you grow into
the guys who are running. Literally, the guys who are running it are all master sweeps. They're not like just businessmen.
So they're all like, I could fucking do this if I wasn't so big.
Yeah, I mean, they're also the ones that survived this like thing that a lot of people. I shouldn't say it. It's probably like I have to look at the rates, but it was enough where it's crazy. People were dying or kids were dying. But to become a master sweep is like a big deal because you didn't die.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
it's like a veteran who came back from war.
It's
like that level of respect.
Yeah. Yeah. Essentially.
You're crawling into war every day.
Yeah. But to answer your question on like the evilness of it, I think is back to that same supply demand thing where there is a problem, which is people need their chimneys swept. And there is a solution, which is people sweeping those chimneys. And there is a guy who is familiar with the market who goes, okay, I know that people will want to do this work and get paid for it. And then people show up and want to get paid for it. Yeah. Unfortunately, in the world of late 1800s London and the UK, it is just children paid for a lot less than what we'd expect today. Because everyone's just so fucking poor.
Right.
And the reasons for that being extreme oppression by like tyrannical governments throughout all of history. But people don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about the evil chimney sweep master who's making kids work when that's like, it's just so hyper-focused on the thing that's doesn't make sense when you actually understand the whole picture.
I think it's also worth noting, like a chimney, the way you were describing earlier, is way more important back then than we think of it now.
Yeah.
Like that's like essential for life.
It's great context to give because nowadays chimney's like a luxury.
It's
of
like we use it twice a year in the winter.
Yeah, we like to see a fire, but back then it was used to heat an entire building for people. And the more complex buildings got like a palace or someone who had a lot of money, you had chimneys that were just extremely complex. So these kids would get stuck and die and all that shit. But to the point of, I should also add, an evil chimney sweep can exist, but at the same time, evil people can exist in anything. It can be the government, a job, it's just you will always have an example of that, and people will, for anything they want to take down, they will find the worst example of it and go, see, this thing's being evil, and ignore everything else that is working. There's probably better intentioned master sweeps out there who don't want the children to die. I would argue that most don't want the children to die.
Yeah, no one gets into it for that reason.
Yeah. Even there might be one. There might be one, like a handful of crazy people who are like, they want to see children die.
I like the look in their eye before they get in the chimney.
They're in the chimney.
Fair. Covered in soot. Can't see it.
I like to see the corpse as it comes out and then look in their eyes. I have to open their eyes back up.
Even if they're not like evil in the sense of like a businessman standpoint, like I got to replace these kids. I got to train them. I got to do all this. Like,
yeah,
I don't want them
annoying.
to die.
Yeah. Oh, totally. That's where that whole take on this thing of like corporation, man, evil, CEO, evil. It's like they don't want to be that. The business is going to try to act in ways that promote profit, and for the most part, more
for their benefit.
Yeah,
not because of their like great either. It's just like
no
to their benefit. They
in
need
a vacuum
to
for profit, but the best way to do that is to not kill or hurt the people you're selling a product to or working with. That's the best way to do it,
or cause harm to others too.
Yeah,
like dumping and stuff like
exactly.
that.
So it's like the better way to do, and most companies know that, and most stories you hear about companies acting in malice or things are true like anomalies. In the vast majority of businesses are like, oh, we got to make a better product, we got to make it safer, we got to make sure we don't hurt anyone, otherwise they die because they need the customer. It's like it's a symbiotic relationship. It's not a, if you don't have customers, you don't have a business. You just can't have it.
I actually don't know, but does the Teflon incident, was that just like testing came out after they found nonstick and then said, hey, this is poison, or did they know ahead of time, like, this is poisoning people, but they want their nonstick?
I bet someone internally knew.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a whistleblower scenario. I just actually don't know. I don't remember.
That's what happened with the smoking industry. Like someone figured out that this is actually so bad for you, and they try to cover it up. But I think that's kind of different.
But I think with those things, it's hard. Like the smoking one, for example, it takes decades of doing that before. It's really hard. I'm not saying smoking doesn't harm your health, but it's one of these things that making a causal link to something of decades of exposure is a difficult thing to do. In good science,
takes a long time.
Yeah, and so, but there isn't in a common sense level. If you're putting smoke in your lungs, it's like, yeah, it's probably pretty bad. So it's like at a certain point, leaning on institutions for these kind of like more common sense things is, I don't even know, because I think about the Teflon incident where like there were birth defects in people where they were dumping the byproduct, where these PFAS, they're called perfluoral alkaline surfactants, that are super biopersistent, mutagenic, and bioaccumulative, meaning that like they don't go away, they just stay in the environment forever. So it's hard to know these people that got exposed to them, if they had a child, it would happen way later. Yeah. So it's hard to have data on these things other than testing in vitro in like petri dishes, the effects of these things on humans. And we have thresholds in the regulatory market to assess these things. Like they're called like LCD-10s, and where like it shows the poison threshold. So like things that obviously if you took it, it would kill you. But then there's ones that are like, we know that in these situations, it causes abnormalities in cells to become malignant and stuff. So it could be that Teflon was being entirely ignorant, or I shouldn't say ignorant, but just like, what's the word? Blatant with they knew this was going to harm people and stuff like that. But it's more than likely that they made a thing, people wanted to buy it, and it's just the scale of damage is a lot less than Hollywood makes it in this term, which I haven't dug into it too much. But then even the result, right? This Teflon thing happens. They crack down on a DuPont chemical. They're like, you got to be safer and not dump. And what do? They make a chemical called Gen X, which is just like a spot over in chemicals. And they go, new thing. What do you think it's going to do? It's still nonstick. Right. So it's like
that was fine at the time. Like problem solved.
Yeah. And it's one of these things that people think that the government fixing it and going, hey, we need to control this better is going to fix it, when the companies will always find a way to, especially in chemistry, but it's like just to move over an inch and keep doing it. And the market typically corrects better, because in Teflon's example, they go, here's a regulation. Now every chemical company making these chemicals have to have these parameters, these guardrails. And what is every policy? It's cost. So all these competitors that are low level that want to get in the market can't anymore. They don't have the infrastructure, they don't have the capital to have these guardrails. So now you take Teflon or DuPont and it gets monopolized. You just corner the market in their favor for every regulation you have. So you took this company, you went, they did bad thing, and you go, make policy. And they go, okay, we'll just switch the chemical, and then you eliminate thousands of competitors for DuPont, and they just grow and grow.
Okay, so if they don't make that policy, they keep pumping out Teflon. Yeah. What happens then? In theory, you have a competitor come in and be like, hey, you guys are killing people or causing birth defects. Well, we're going to make something better.
Well, it usually happens through people choosing a different product. because the journalism,
the headline will come out regardless, right? So that would cause people to change their choice,
which is how it was founded originally. It was people reporting on these things and lawyers involved on the business side and be like, hey, this looks a little fucked up, and then people were like, oh shit, that's fucked up. And even today, people still would buy, like, that happened and people are still buying Teflon products. So it's like people want the safer thing, but in order to have the safer thing, you have to have more choices competing with each other. As opposed to what, like, there's a lot more probability that a single company controlling the entire market will continue to create more dangerous things because it has more capital to just kind of all damages or legal cases against it. It can just kind of like throw away money, as opposed to you have a bunch of other companies that if suddenly the customers don't go to Teflon, again, that symbiotic relationship of customer and business, they can't exist. And it's a hard thing to sell because in the midst of all this, people do get hurt. Like Teflon did this, it done things, there was birth defects in some children. You can't ignore those things. But the consequence of letting Teflon, the regulation causing DuPont to become a bigger monopoly, they're way worse than if you didn't have a policy and you let the market solve the safer product. It's proven itself over and over. And people still go, I think we need better regulation on these things. And I'm not arguing for none entirely, but again, it's hard to find a good regulatory policy.
That's an interesting case because I follow your logic, but you can't be a government and not act on that, right? Like, if the government just sees that and is like, well, hands off, we'll let the market play it out. Like that's not a good look.
I think there could be like an analysis, only because I've listened to for so
because I'm super
long.
right about everything.
So damn long. No, like it could be like a analysis, I would assume, of infringement on someone's like actual personal freedom / I guess you could say a person's personal property. Themselves are they are themselves their own personal property, and if you are pushing a product that could in fact harm them in some way, willingly and knowledgeably doing so, they could step in. But then the rectifying of that being like, okay, you can't do that thing. Like you can't put out a dangerous chemical into people's bodies. Just don't do that. But I think the policy then around that was like, you can't do that, and you have to go through all of these regulatory channels to test it, and you have to do this, and you have to do this, so that we can make sure you're not actually doing it, is where like all of a sudden regulation gets crazy, and each one of those steps costs you money.
Yeah.
And so it like slowly pushes out competition because it gets too expensive.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's a great point that there's a distinction between harming someone in, like, if there is harm done, then the legal system works in bringing restitution to those people. But putting control on the company to make things safer, again, the dumping thing is separate from the product. The result was control on the product. It was also going, like, there are laws to be, you can't go to a municipal water source and dump chemicals into it. That's just illegal because you are harming people that are consuming that water, which is, I guess that's regulatory in a way, but that's also just kind of, you can't hurt people. That is the law. You can't intentionally go out and hurt people.
Okay, yeah.
So the result of it, though, is typically the government goes, you have to make a safer product. You obviously can't do this thing. We got to do the thing on top of it. And it's almost like it gets just pushed to the side. Like the dump is used as a reason for the government to intervene. And people go, oh, it's fine now because the government's making it safer.
Yeah.
So, again, it's a tough sell. But when you look at the proportionality of it all, less consequences come from less cornered markets.
Which I totally agree with. But I'm just trying to think, if I am the government, or say just a civilian in this society,
sure,
what should the government do instead of that?
Well, there's, at least for the dumping side, or making a product that's not as safe.
Well, so they say you can't dump, right, because that's causing birth defects. Yeah. But you're saying the problem was when they moved Teflon a notch to the left, like slightly safer, in quotes.
Yeah.
You're saying they shouldn't have done that.
Well, I'm saying that doesn't matter. I'm saying that by it is true. Great example. Remember, you know what BPA is at this point, right? Bisphenol A, which is just a plastic that everyone was like, oh, the plastic's in baby bottles and everything. It's killing everyone. when that came out, now you see all these canned foods with like BPA free and bottles of BPA free. What do you think the industry did? They moved to BPF, BPS, polyesters, vinyls, which have less testing data. And now because they just got rid of BPA, we have stuff that has less data associated with it that just hasn't been banned yet.
Okay.
That the markets will always do things like this where it takes people's choice and information from investigative journalism, which all these things we're talking about, the beginning is from journalists going out and being, these things are hurting people. And then people going, oh, okay, I'll make a choice to not do that. The market will do that by itself. By banning BPA, again, you're just lopping off a bunch of competitors that maybe need to use BPA or need time to shift over. But now that entire market that was using BPA just kind of dies. And then all these other players can continue to they monopolize into these pigeonholes of the market.
Okay.
So
I'm looking up something that just reminded me of that.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was glucosate.
Wait.
Yeah,
glyphosate?
herbicide, glyphosate.
Yeah, from Roundup.
Yeah, but Ben and Jerry's. So Ben and Jerry's literally Ben and Jerry's had glyphosate in their ice cream. It was found in their ice cream. It's common for herbicide. Yeah. And I forgot, you said the term earlier. Well, you said the 10 version, but there's like a BD50.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Where it's like, in order to kill 50% or in order for 50% to survive, whatever the lethal dose is. It's the dose. Yeah, whatever the lethal dosage is, there is in Ben and Jerry's. In order, like they found out that it was in Ben and Jerry's ice cream. And so Ben and Jerry said, we're done. We're not doing it anymore. But the cost of ice cream went up because if something in their process was exposed to it. So the cost of ice cream went up.
Yeah.
And you had to consume like 10,000 pints of ice cream to die from it.
Mm-hmm.
But way before that, so in terms of dangerous, way before that, you would die from glucose poisoning or sucrose poisoning at like 100 pints or something like that. Like you would die from the sugar and the sucrose inside of it well before you would die from the glyphosate. But because it's like the big scary thing and big term that people go into, now Ben & Jerry's is more expensive because you've made their process more difficult just because it had some trace amounts of this thing.
Yep. I guess the question then is that bad?
Yes.
That it got more expensive?
Yes.
Yeah. But it did get rid of the chemical, right?
But the chemical wasn't...
Well, I guess is it totally meaningless? Or like?
I guess, in my opinion, that was totally meaningless. It's like a notch on someone's belt of like, we got it out of Ben & Jerry's. But overall, it was not poisoning anyone in any sense because the dangerous level of it was at 10,000 pints.
So there couldn't be like a lifetime accumulation or anything. It's just like
I don't know if it's biopersistent.
Well, this is the devil's advocate for this situation because the glyphosate stuff, it's been put into this way of like it's one of those ones like the biopersistent stuff where we don't know for a long time if it's necessarily doing anything because it's coming the low dose exposure daily.
Yeah,
which is hard to test on. But I would make the argument that that's a good example of the market responding without policy.
Yeah.
People go,
we
don't want
there was no policy.
Okay.
The company just said, no, we'll take it out. Yeah. It's fine. It's just going to be more, they didn't say, we're going to make it more expensive. Yeah. It just became more expensive.
I would argue that's good then.
Nice job. And then they were willing to pay more for that to happen.
Right.
Whereas a competitor could have came out and be like, hey, listen, we looked at it. It's not going to kill you. We kept it in ours. And
we
now
have tons of Roundup in our ice cream.
We love Roundup in our ice cream. We're going to keep it the same. We're going to keep the old Ben & Jerry price with a little bit of glyphosate kind of thing.
Yeah. And people will make that choice.
Well, that's the whole point. We were talking about, I think it was with you, I was talking about medical, like becoming a doctor. Okay? It requires a ton of training and eventually licensure through a state body. Like you have to be approved through a regulatory body to become a doctor. And it is what that has done and why healthcare, I mean, that's one very small part of why healthcare is so expensive, but it has eliminated the choice for anyone to have anything less than the doctors that require 12 years of training at minimum, unless you go into a specialty and then it gets higher. And there's no choice for a doctor that does everything below that. And now we have all these things where there's like nurse practitioners doing kind of a doctor job, but they're not a doctor, so they can't do certain things because the government doesn't say so. And it's like, the government is making all these choices for you when in reality, if choice was just left up to the person and you have third-party systems validating these things like we do with supplements and certifications for any kind of product you could ever imagine. They go, this is the gold standard of thing to make sure this is green or healthy or good for you. It's like the government is just this useless tool that makes things more expensive, and it slows down every progress in that direction.
Yeah.
It's just it just does it over and over and over, and we're still convinced. We're not convinced, I would hope, but so much of the nation is like, well, we need like universal health care. we need to get more control over all these things. But it's just this, again, I want to be proved wrong because the more you read...
You'd like to think the government can handle all of it. That'd be wonderful.
It'd be great. You just sit back, you pay your taxes, everything's great.
Yeah, it all gets sorted out.
But what is the world we're living in? We have $39 trillion in debt, and more, and the wealth divide is getting bigger and bigger and bigger in the country. And it's like, why is that? Is it because the market's failing? No, it's because our government spends a fuck ton of money. It prints tons of money and then gives it to the richest people in the world. It's like, the government's ruining us, dude. Stop it. So,
that is my everyday. Dude. That is my everyday right there.
I'm sorry.
I come home from work and I'm like, hey, how's it
honey,
going?
How's your day going?
The government! It's a goddamn government!
It's so funny because when we...
it's beautiful.
You brought up, you know who Hassan Piker is? The streamer dude?
No.
It was, maybe like a month ago where we were talking online. He's like, I think I'm finally starting to like come to this moment of what you're feeling. It relating to like this government, like fuck them, because this Hassan Piker guy has gone like full communist, has gone to China, has been like fed all the China propaganda about Mao and how good he was, and
that's crazy.
And it's just him coming to me and being like, I get it now, because there's you see these people just like spew this stuff that has no grounding in reality and just ignore everything else. They just wholesale buy into this without thinking about any of it.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who's like built his career as a streamer. It's like, what is more free market?
He's got an audience.
He's got an audience.
It's the most free market thing ever. He's like, communism is how we solve all of our problems.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, man.
He's been a political pundit for I don't know how long. He was in the Young Turks, which I don't know if that's like a well-known organization, but his uncle was like a political commentator. He's a political commentator, but he went full commie and he just says the craziest takes that I've done the deep dive now, where it was just like, if I didn't know anything about China and I just listened to him, where it was just like, oh, China brought 800 million people out of poverty. They built all of these large cities in such a short amount of span, and now those cities are getting filled, and they have high-speed bullet train. Like, all of this stuff sounds great, and then you just have to – honestly, you don't even have to do that deep of a dive. You just have to, like, scratch the surface and be like, how did 800 million people end up in poverty? Oh, Mao also killed millions, too.
The lives?
Yeah, it's just like, he brought all those people out of poverty? Crazy. The high-speed bullet trains, they're everywhere. Oh, but they're $1 trillion in debt because of it? And then there's, like, these – I can't remember what it's called, because I went to China, and they were empty, and I don't remember what the term is, and I won't even try to pronounce it because they have – Mandarin has a lot of inflections.
You should try.
Mao Shuang.
There you go.
Mao Shuang. No, it was like basically it's like they don't deal with they used to be called way back in the day ghost cities. Because like, they built all these buildings and no one's there. And now some of them are filled. Very notably, there's like 2 of them, I think. One is in the Pudong district of Shanghai, and there's another one somewhere else that was a swamp. Pudong. And then there was one that was a swamp, and then it became like this tier 1 crazy city, like New York size city. 2 great examples of like they did it. But then there's the term that I can't pronounce is it literally translates to rotting cities, because the real estate market collapsed because they kept building things that people didn't want. The market didn't demand for it, and now it's too expensive to tear down, and so they just leave it. And the cities are just rotting and sitting and just deteriorating over time. So like the skyline is just rotting away.
Sounds like the end of Inception.
Yeah, and then Hassan's just like, this is such a this is it. This is what we need.
Just filming himself walking on the streets. This is the life.
Literally
There's
what
no
he,
one
that,
there.
that's literally what he did.
Have you heard of Tiananmen Square? Like the Tiananmen Square? Yeah. He went to Tiananmen Square and he was like, I've never seen so much patriotism.
Oh my
God. They were
God.
celebrating in Tiananmen Square, just like, this is so much. I've never been patriotic about anything, but there's so much patriotism here. This is what we need in America. Be like, they killed people there.
Yeah. In mass.
Wait, hold on. Did this guy have you for a second and you kind of like...
No. So
or is it more just like, this is so fucked up?
No, it was like, I was exploring like the whole political thing of the arguments right now are very heavily, me and Evan have discussed it. I think there's going to be a massive rubber band in the opposite direction of Trump, which is going to be everything socialist, democratic, all of that. And I'm like, I want to be more well-informed so that, I mean, we could wear an improv, there's some left-leaning people around.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's just like, okay, if someone wants to have a discussion, I need to know what is going on that side. Otherwise, I'm just going to sound like a right-leaning guy who has no understanding of
and you
want to
know on your own side, like don't just have a belief, right?
Yeah.
You got to dig into it.
Like I don't want to just this is what I believe in, and I don't know what you believe in necessarily, but I just know it's not right. Yeah. So I just I wouldn't I've watched Hassan stuff, and he says he's a democratic socialist. Actually, he says he's a democratic socialist, but he's more communist than democratic socialist. And the reason why democratic socialism is not alarming, what's the word I'm looking for, very popular, and why I wanted to look into it is because of, what's his name, in New York.
Zoran Mamdani.
Yeah, so he's very democratic socialist of America. Mm-hmm. And now it's like this experiment of, I want to see how that plays out. And then when it goes wrong, because I think it'll go wrong, I want to see what excuses they use of like the country's just not ready.
Oh no!
Well, the other thing is he's the mayor. He probably can't influence
and he'll just
that
say
much.
I can't do much.
Yeah,
probably.
Well, whatever happens, he'll be able to bow out of it if he wants to, or he can say I'm responsible for all this good. He probably doesn't.
That's what every politician does. They'll either blame it on the last guy, or they'll take some external thing that has nothing to do with what's going on, and they'll go, this is the reason. Sorry, guys.
No.
It's just how it always works. And I hope he does get to put some of these things in place that actually get to put in place.
Let's see what happens.
And if he does, it will destroy New York, and then everyone will have a very real example of what those policies do.
Yeah.
So, dude, I was watching a fucking video with Andrew Yang today. You remember him?
Wasn't he the math man?
He's still pretty popular.
He was the math
left,
man.
Right?
His big selling point was UBI, Universal Basic Income.
Right. That's right.
Because he was like, dude, I've read so much on UBI and tried to understand.
Let's just make the currency meaningless.
Dude, well...
That's my take.
Okay. I was like, what?
We're going to make it meaningless.
No, but his whole thing, he was running on UBI and this idea that AI, which I don't think is wrong, the AI part of it's going to take off. There's going to be so much wealth generation, but... I've been trying to understand where all these people like an Andrew Yang or even economists, Milton Friedman, who have read a lot in the books I've suggested, he argues for UBI in the form of a negative income tax. But then when you start to crunch the numbers on these things, it's insane.
I thought he wanted it as a temporary, Friedman specifically wanted it as a temporary transitional
It is.
modus, because it's just like, hey, we need to get rid of all these welfare programs, but if you just wipe them out, people will die and suffer. So you put the UBI in as a temporary while you get rid of the welfare.
Correct. Let me explain the levels. So the version that is UBI and Andrew Yang is the blanket. Everybody gets $12,000 a year. The cost for America at the time he was suggesting would be about $4.9 trillion. So our budget is around, I think, $2 trillion-ish, maybe a little above that. No, we can't do that. You can't do that. And also, this is the alternative to welfare.
So the theory is tax ultra-rich billionaires, right? It was
money. But even in the most generous figures of he suggested a 10% tax on top of the wealthiest people. You don't even get close to $4.9 trillion. Okay. You don't need to, and it's like, take everything he suggested, add it all together, you're maybe $2.5 trillion. It's just like nonsense and a running bit. Anyway, so it is seen as the alternative to every welfare system, right? The SNAP benefits, the rent assistance, all this stuff that we have in place. The Milton Friedman version that has a negative income tax is, if you are under a certain income, you get negative income tax applied to you, which is the UBI. So you get the money you make is less taxed, right? Mm-hmm. But he advocates for all the stuff we have in place for welfare, drug testing, employment guarantees, all this stuff that like make sure that the people who are doing this aren't just freeloading off the government. Milton Friedman says we shouldn't have any of that. And it's like, none of this makes sense. Either you have the version of negative income tax with the drug testing and the job employment stuff, the things that guarantee that people are working towards a job, or you don't do it. It's like, why? I don't get why he subtracts that thing from it. I think his suggestion is way better because it takes the 100 welfare systems we have in place and it consolidates everything. So there's no longer all these opportunities for people to take advantage of it because the systems don't talk to each other. Yeah. But I think he also still misses the mark. And that's one thing I've never understood. I mean, Andrew Yang, I think, with his stuff is just dumb. And all the moderate...
didn't do the math.
No. And his whole thing's the math guy. Like he's like, I'm the futurist math guy. And it's like, did you even add the numbers together?
That's not how numbers work.
I know numbers.
I know number.
So, and all the modern guys who talk about UBI are making those arguments. It's like 10% tax on the wealthy, $12,000 for everybody. And it's like, man, people are just fucking stupid.
But even then, I think maybe they're like trying to do like future scoping in terms of like
that's what he brings up.
AI.
But it's like, you can't put a system in place
that's literally a ghost city.
Exactly.
It's literally like, let's build this thing.
Like, I know we're going to have this money in the future. Let's put this system in place.
I know people are going to want to move to the big cities en masse. Yeah. Let's build these cities before they do it. No.
Yeah, it feels just like another example of how short-sighted some... Andrew Yang's probably a smart guy, but it's just like, how do you not understand that you're doing the same thing that like a ghost city situation... Like, you're doing the same thing of... You don't have the foresight to understand the market.
Asian.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that part.
For China.
He's just fucking usurping us. Yeah. Like, oh, shit.
He wants to bring his damn Chinese policy here.
Bring it.
Fucking. I actually don't even know I don't know what Yang's nationality is.
Me neither. So I'm Asian.
That makes sense.
All right. We're almost at an hour. Let's find one last good one. I feel like we went government heavy on this one, so I'll try to find something that's
good stuff.
No,
give me something that's cats, kittens. Let's talk about a happy something. You know,
cats and kittens.
I did. I mean, this is just a funny line, but this is short. I was listening to Mark Norman, comedian, and he was literally talking about like, I think it was being around fat people like made him want to eat more or something. He was calling it secondhand fat, and I thought it was just the funniest thing in the entire world. It's like, I get secondhand fat from being around.
That's kind of a real thing.
Yeah, if people are like eating more food around you,
if your family is fat, like you're probably going to be fat too.
Yeah, you're more than likely to be like the people that you surround yourself with. So if you have a bunch of fat friends, you're probably going to more move towards being fat.
I'm just thinking of the holidays when it's just you ate 2 plates and there's like, anybody got room for pie?
Oh, third hand fat.
I've been crushing cookies for like a month.
Oh yeah, the family cookies.
So many cookies.
Yep. Let me send you home with a tin.
Grandma roll.
Mom sent me home with it. I ate all of them. I didn't even bring them to work or anything. I ate all the cookies.
Wow. It's literally the same. Whenever I come home,
did you get an offer? Did you get an offer of cookies? I didn't get an offer of cookies.
I ate the last one right before you guys got here.
I didn't want you to see them.
Why would you tell us?
I didn't want you to see them.
You monster. Okay, hold on. I got to find something here that's just not fucking terrible.
Whatever, you'll bleep it. He's in a dark place right now.
What?
Oh, is it?
Because you keep finding, you're just like, I got to find something that's not dark and dismal.
No, dude, everything I don't even know. The stuff with the... I don't even know.
See?
No, say it.
How about this?
All right, give me some.
We're going to give you the white pill version. Because, Red pilled is
What
like.
the fuck?
White
let me
pill?
break this down
What
for
the
you.
fuck? White.
White power pill.
I'm gonna give you the white power.
No.
The red pill didn't do enough.
You gotta go farther. But so everyone knows the blue pill, red pill matrix analogy nowadays, where red pill's like you finally see through to the other side of what's going on with the economy and the government, blah blah.
Yeah.
Then there's black pilled, which is like it's a doom version of this, where like you see through everything and everything's inherently evil and like the government's going to take everyone down and everyone's mean to each other. And then there's white pill, and there was a book written by Michael Malice, who's the libertarian guy, but he's called white pilled or whatever. So that term is taken off as like the optimistic view of the world. And the more I lean that way, and the more people have this take, but it's what we're going through right now as a country is when things are really bad, things are typically changing. There's usually this turmoil because there's all this unrest, and it's like the dying throes of a disease where it's just kind of like screaming and flailing before some massive change happens. So I think we're at this pivot point where the government and people in power have gone away with these things for so long because we didn't have the information that was present and we have no way to validate anything. We just kind of trusted. And now I think a lot of people don't feel that way. And now it's like those people in power are just like, this Epstein file thing is a great example of this. Of like, everyone knows what's going on now, and it's ridiculous. And most people, left, right, libertarian, whatever, are looking at that and going, this is fucking shit. We don't want any of these people here. And now you have a generation of people who are going to move into politics with these ideas. Going, this is a giant piece of shit. They're hurting everyone. They're doing terrible things. So the future looks bright in that sense. I think as long as people just keep moving in the direction, the information just keeps getting spread on the internet over and over and over, we have hope, and a lot of it.
Yeah, it's probably good that it's easier than ever to get caught doing something horrible.
Yeah.
Right? Versus the past, you could get away with a lot more. I feel like everyone says that about like my childhood or or at the highest levels of government.
Yeah. And it's just the truth. Whether it be for better or worse, I think it's definitely worse if you're a bad person, for sure.
Yeah.
But it is, I don't know. I think we're going to probably live through this like rebirthing of a nation. Of it's going to be like people want to get back to what this nation was started as.
Rise from the ashes.
Yeah. Which
slavery.
And we're back.
Back to where it all started.
We're coming
Hey, we
back.
didn't castrate them. It's not that
bad. We almost made it. We're in minute 59.
And I bring it up, baby.
We had an hour 02. All right. On that note, we'll talk to you next week. Signing off.